Hello everyone, welcome back to another Block Bro Productions video. Today is a little bit of a weird one. As in my post and channel description, there's a thing going over my channel, like what I'm gonna do, and one of them is my story. But you may be confused. We're starting in Chapter 7, Season 7, which is also the final season of Chapter 7. Where is Chapter 1 through 6? 7 actually. Um, well, I'll get there in a minute. I will make videos going over the maps and stuff. But I'm also going to do a storyline explanation video by the end of this season. So after I do my finale event, you can kind of get an idea of what it is, of what my story is. And also, by the way, my story was made when I was a very big fan of Fortnite, so that's why it goes in like chapters and seasons, and there's finale events and stuff. It's just because it actually works really well with how I'm making my story. So yeah, that's why it's there. Um, I'm not the biggest fan of Fortnite anymore, but I will actually make a video on the Simpsons season probably tomorrow. There are going to be weekly updates. This season is not going to have weekly updates, but it's going to end on December, like, 16th, if I'm not mistaken. I think it ends there. And that's when Chapter 8 happens. So, yeah, this is a full, like, narrative story. Like, very big narrative story. It has taken me literally 11 years, but sadly my previous channel was banned due to the AI thing. But, no big deal. We're starting again, and I don't want to take another 11 years out of my life just to do another little bit to my story. So instead, here we are. We're starting in Chapter 7. I will do a storyline explanation video. So, yeah, I will be touring this map. That's how I kind of do my seasons. And also, I will make a post, but also I will leave the comments open if you would like me to go over kind of a more detailed version, more detailed review of like season 1 maps of like chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 and 7, sorry. Um so yeah, I will gladly do that, like very much gladly do that. But anyway, let's get into this. Called Train Town. Now, this is definitely one of my favorite POIs on this map. We're going to go into creative mode so we can get a good look at kind of what it looks like. But yeah, this is also, other than Season 6 of Chapter 7, or Season 5, this is one of the POIs I made for Vibrant Visuals. So yeah, there's also, as you may have realized, these little sewers, and there is an entire sewer system underneath this POI. So yes, it is a very high detailed POI. I'm a very big but it's called Train Town because it is the central hub of the train station. And yeah, there are also story quests that we'll get into. But we have this bank, and this is a returning bank. But there is actually something incredibly fun with banks. You're able to actually do heists. So we'll go over this. As you can see, you flick this lever, and what it will do... Oh, wait, what is this? Oh, yeah. It'll open up the door over there, but you have to kind of sneak through... Oh, that's incorrect, but it's okay. We can just break through this. So, oh yeah. So the door will eventually close, but the window's broken right there. And then what you can do is you can open up that vault, and there is a bunch of good stuff within it. Now I'm gonna do something just so I can... Oh wait, I'm not the brightest, am I? Just so I can get out quicker. But this is an incredibly detailed POI. The architectural style I went with for this season was primarily a German aesthetic. So yeah, we're gonna start with the arcade building. As you can see, it's just a nice arcade. Shells weren't part of this yet, so yeah. We have an open sign right there. Very high detailed. There's some boxes. And then up here, we actually have a house. So yeah, very, very nice. And you can see some bookshelves. And actually, that leads to the other building. But here we have a bedroom. We have a bathroom. Not very many lights, but this season is kind of supposed to feel a little bit like meh. We then have a pulled pork restaurant. So that is very cool. Oh, I think there's a bathroom right here. Oh, no, no, no. There's a garage. So yeah, that's what this is. But yeah, here it is, pulled pork. You have a little pork thing right there. And then, you know, you have this stuff. This is the kitchen. It's not... Ooh, there's actually not a lot of detail on this floor. I just remembered. As we went over the bank already, let's go over this little tunnel. Now, has is a villain that we will get to later on. We also have a statue of Noel. So yeah, Noel's the main villain, by the way. We have this little amethyst geode in this park. And we also have trash cans around. We have this nice little house right here. Very, very simple house. And then we have this little bathroom here. And then up here, we have bathroom, bedroom. I think there are more bathrooms than bedrooms. I just realized that. But yeah. And then also a lot of there's a few things. We have the shed here. We'll get to that later because a lot of the core POIs actually have a lot of secrets with them. We have this nice little apartment complex, and we're actually not going to go over the entire thing just yet. But there's this, and then there's this. Now, also, you may realize there's a little lever. There's some pistons, and then once we go down, you have this way over here, and you're going to be surprised. That leads to this. And then going over to here, hold on, go down. We have a little mini paradigm base. So yeah, we have the Enlightener and the Enforcer here. So yeah, very, very, very cool. Now let's go over. Oh, also these are reused buildings, so we're not really gonna go over them. We have this park here, the Central Park, and as you can see, it's a very, very detailed Central Park. There are exclusive trees within this park as well, so, you know. But we have the actual train station here, and as you can see, it's a very, very detailed one. We have a Knoll statue right here in the middle of this, like, glass dome. We have the train right here, the train track. We have a restaurant. I think over here is a shed. Nope, a bathroom. So, yeah. There is a shed, not a shed, but like a garage somewhere, though, for like storage, and I think it's somewhere this way, yeah. Actually, I can't remember if these top right and left wings actually have any. Oh, they do. Oh, yeah, we have a little, like, team of, or a little core center and another little core center. So, yeah. And then on this farmost tower, we have the logo of the core, which is like a little Ouroboros. And you can actually get on the roof, just so you know. I think. How do you get on the roof? I think it's through here. Wait. No? Wait, how do you do this? Oh, it's... That's where it is. Yeah. So it's right there. I think. Can you get up there? Oh, no, 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 you can't. Now... Oh, I really do like this building. Let's move on to the next POI I made. And as you can see, you have just a war going on over here. You have this little highway that leads over to Power Pitfall. That is our next POI. As you can see, you have Team of 5 and Paradigm tanks hitting some of the core. And this is a very important place in the story because it is very central. Here we have a factory out here. And this is very similar to that SCO power plant back in Chapter 2. So yeah. We have a little area right here. And then we have a shed. And we have some, like, beds. And we also have, like, cargo, so, you know. And then we have the actual, like, power plant things themselves. And you have the smoke coming out from them. So, yeah. We'll get over there in a second. But first, we should head over to the next POI I made, which is literally my favorite POI on this entire map. I have to be really careful because if I get too close to the map pieces over there, my game will crash. Now, I don't think that's a very cool thing. Also, there are still clouds, I think. Yeah, some cloud effects. This is the highest peak in the Alpine biome. So yeah, ooh, we'll go over there. That POI is really nice. We'll go over there in a second. Eventually. Because this technically does have canonical, like, connections to Mesmer the Impaler. But, it's a really detailed build, though. Right here, we have our next POI. This is Ferris Falls. As you can see, there's a Ferris wheel and some falls. If I switch it to day, you can see the shadow of the Ferris wheel. But it is a very nice build, or a very nice, like, place. There's a lot of balconies going around. We're not going to go over this building because it's reused. We have a Corbett Bank. Now, the Corbits are actually an online currency. So, yeah. And then we actually have a terrace, like, not really a terrace farm, but it's kind of built up in a terrace village sort of way. But we also have this stuff, more storage, and then we have this nice little, like, construction building, and this little tunnel will have some significance at some point. As you can see, though, there's a big, like, suspension thing right there, and you have a bunch of, like, sewer things falling into the falls. So yeah. And also, you do have a train track here, and a road here. And also, we have some propaganda. We help we help all that lies before, and all lies are capitalized. And there's definitely a reason to that. Because it's the core, and they always lie. Oh wait, you can't climb that. Anyway, continuing on, we have this nice little house. It's a very simple building. You have a balcony right here. Going up, we enter the kitchen, and then going up one last time, you have a bit of a balcony, and you have the bedroom, I think. Yep. Now, going along here, we have another house. Oh, that's weird, but that's okay. And you can see we have a pipe without water. So, there's a little bit of Team of 5 stuff going on here, if you couldn't tell. They are very cool. So now, speaking of the fourth washing machine to the left, we have the fourth washing machine to the left. And down here, you'll be really surprised, is, in fact, a paradigm base once more. As you can see, it's kind of graffitied on haphazardly, but we have, it's in the sewers. And if we go through here, hold on, it does take a second to get through this pipe, but if we go through here, we will actually come across a very unique thing, which is actually the entrance over here. We do have a few more things to go off of. Also, it's just really deep water, as you can tell. We have a few more things to go over. Once we hit up here, we can actually go up to the left and hit up this house, which is just a standard, like, modern building that kind of goes up. Very simple. And then over here, we have this little flower shop. That's all it is. And as you can see, there's a little fallen shutter, which actually came from that reused building. So we aren't going to go over this. It's called Hazard Hotel. Maybe I should have actually flipped this entire, like, top bit. Maybe that would have been smart. But, as you can see, there's a blocked off gate right here. But, if you do a little bit of parkour, you have an unblocked off gate here. And right down here is another one of those little bunker, or not bunkers. Well, actually technically bunkers, but also more, little heist area. And you have this little, like, thing right here. Kind of like, this POI is kind of Chinese inspired. And then you actually have the Ferris wheel itself. So, yeah. Now, for the next... POI I did, we're gonna hop over to the little army base for the core. This army base is very, very simple. It is Lookout Landing, and the reason why it's Lookout Landing is also this. By the way, this POI does have some significance, especially with those cargo planes. But as you can see, you have some fighter jets inside of these flyers, whatever the heck they are. And each of these are the same, but we'll go over one. They are little oh, the name of it is on the tip of my tongue, but I'm just gonna forget it, aren't I? The barracks, yeah, the barracks. And then over here, we have a few reused buildings, so we're not gonna go over them. Plus, I don't even think they have much of an interior anyway. We have some cargo for the train, and as you can see, the train can go through this tunnel. And we have some logging areas over here, so it can like stop. But these cargo planes are also fully furnished. As you can see, one of the backs is like ready to be loaded. And as you can see, that's the entire length of it. It's a very simple plane, but it's very cool. Now, if we go on ahead, we reach the next POI, which is in the subcategory biome. And that's the chaparral, or the alpine coastal. Also, you can see we have a very large lake here. This is surprisingly the lake that feeds all the rivers on this entire island, believe it or not. So yeah, it's kind of weird, but it's also nice just to have rivers now, because rivers are usually something I don't really add to my maps. Chapter 7 was the first time they really happened. So yeah. Now, the entrance to this POI is across an entire section. Now, also, the word relics may be a little weird to you, but I think I explain it in the storyline quest. But if not, we're going to explain it right now. The reason this season is named Relics is because it's based on the relics of of Reality 1080, which of course we are on. So that's why a lot of these things from the past are here. This is Stillwater Steps, by the way. Hold on, we have to do something. Which is a very unique theme, because honestly, that wasn't going to be the theme of this season in the first place, but turns out it became it. So yeah, that's just kind of a simple explanation. The Time Temple and the Monolith made pieces of the past come back. So yeah, you are not supposed to be there. But yeah. As you can see, we have a very far point on the island, but there's an even farther point that we'll get to eventually. We have this bridge, and yeah, I based it off of Italian Rivieras. Every single building is pretty much the same on the interior. Like, honestly, none of them really have special interiors. But if I switch it to night, you may realize that that specific building has no lights on. And, well, there's a reason to that. As you can see, we kind of have this indent in the wall for some reason. Now, I wonder why we would have that indent. Truly, I do wonder. We also have another Corvette bank, just so you know. So yeah, back here is the entrance. But as you can see, it kind of goes up. But this POI also has some major significance to the story, because I actually took inspiration and made Romeo and Juliet canon in my story. So this is the Montague household. And then we have the Capulet household up there. I legitimately almost forgot their names, so glad I didn't, but yeah. Yeah, we have... Oh, no, it's Pasta Palace. Sorry, this is not a Grove Balls Grub and Pub. Because, yeah. But we also have a wine cellar right here. But speaking of wine cellar, we have this little grate down here. Where could this grate go? This is a core run POI, so of course it's a team, or a team of 5 / paradigm base. Oh, darn it. Oh, whoa, I did it. I don't know how I did that. But yeah, not really going to go over many of the houses. The houses are not kind of very similar. We have a little wine area over here. No, or a storage, sorry. And then we have a little, like, garden for the Capulets. Um, what's friends with the Montague son and the Capulet daughter, Romeo and Juliet. Um, but when he was corrupted by the Abyssal Serpent, he ended up killing them. So that sucks. Anyway, time to move on to the next POI that I made, and it is in fact this one of the last POIs to the entire biome, and that is the mausoleum. Actually, I do believe it's called Mesmer's Mausoleum. Um, and there's a reason why there's an Eye of Sauron looking thing, and it's because Mesmer actually placed one of his eyes up there because it got burnt out, and that's why it's there. And it is actually the eye that sees all. Also, a lot of aura in this building. Just saying. All the red candles, very like significant. Now, Mesmer's flame is actually not here. It's just kind of like a normal fire brazier. But if it was a little bit more bright, we have a heart right there, and that heart is actually dripping blood into this chalice. And this is one of the Bloodstone churches. It's not the Bloodstone church, but it is a Bloodstone church. And as you can see, we have some charred grass around. But we actually have these, like, stair-stepping things going up. We actually have, like, these, like, chains, supports. Really, really weird. We have this really creepy room. Then you have the balcony. As you can see, you have the heart right there. And then going along, we actually have the courtyard, and this is one of the coolest locations right here. I love that. But yeah, as you can see, one of the belfries is broken, but this back belfry, or the I don't know, this really big thing, is not broken because it has the Eye of Mesmer. And as you can see, you have the huge fire right there, very large. We're gonna switch it to day. Now, for the next POIs, I actually went away from this biome, and I headed towards the tundra. The tundra has a total of 2 POIs, but it was gonna have... Oh, wait, no, it was always 2. Never mind. I thought it was gonna be 3, but no. As you can see, there's a little river that follows this huge plateaued area. And it ends up freezing over at some point over here. As you can see, it also kind of goes down. Also, you have the farm down there. And it leads over to 2 different POIs. One called Lumber Lake, which is just in front of this lake with a lumber yard. This is one of the less interesting POIs on this map. But going across the ice lake, we have a blizzarding POI called Hasty Harbor. Originally, I was going to call it Hatred Harbor, but I like Hasty more. And actually, a lot of these buildings are reused. Like every single one, actually. So I apologize, but no, actually, no. We probably should. Sorry, we are going to go over it. As you can see, we have this little diner here. Very nice. You have some dead trees around. This POI is a lot better at nighttime, so we're just going to set it to nighttime. Specifically this time of night. It kind of like gives a good feeling. And I haven't really had a POI like this ever. So it's nice to have a snowy POI every once in a while. Now, I have no idea how you get to the 2nd floor. Genuinely, I am a little confused. Oh, that figures. This is the Jazz House. So yeah, some jazz. Got a drum set back there. Very, very nice. You have a little, factory area right here. Not very important. You have some garages. I think this back garage has some... Oh, wait. Yeah, some activities going on. We'll say that. We then have a little laundromat. Another returning building. And then we have this bar right here. And this bar is very cool. Because it's also returning. And that's pretty much it. Like, very simple POI. I love the time of day in this area. At nighttime, it just looks really, really good. The farm over here is fine. Um, it's very unique. Now it's time to head over to the redwood biome. Now, the war-torn redwood biome is exactly how it sounds. This entire POI is called War-Torn Wales. Ugh. Sorry, I woke up early today. Now, the reason why it's called War-Torn Wales is because it is the location of the first hit and the first bomb strikes of this terrible, terrible war. Awful war. This is very bad to the economy as well. I love this season though. It has replaced the entire city. Now, originally this was the city biome. As you can see, you kind of have remnants of the large concrete areas. But there are trenches everywhere, tanks, a lot of like rocks and debris. And I wanted to make this POI feel terrifying to go around. I mean, like, you have smoke coming up everywhere. It's covered in this tree, like these trees. Now, I don't know how the trees got here, honestly. Like, that's a question for another day. As you can see, we have a little, like, pond here up where the event center used to be. Sadly, it's gone. I think, if I'm not mistaken, no, never mind. Yeah. So there was a little area over here, but now that's gone. The suburbs are also destroyed. I really wanted to make this POI feel super like sad. I wanted to make it feel like, oh, this is kind of sad how there was an entire city here and now the loss of life is at a really high margin. I also added this super open kind of field area with less trees, and it really gives like a sense of, wow, there's a lot of ruins. As you can see, you have some like bomb strikes, some ash, a lot of destroyed tanks, both of which are on either side, Team of 5 and Core. We have another trench. There's trench warfare going on. But yeah, it's almost depressing seeing how this used to be this giant, beautiful city, and now there's just a lake in the middle of it, and just a bunch of ruins. Now, originally it was going to be a ruined city, and I think that would have been really cool. But I like the idea of just completely removing the city and just adding a bunch of trees. It makes it feel more sad. And honestly, my explanation for the trees getting here would probably be the time temple that used to be a forest anyway. Like, genuinely, that was there in my story. There was a lake and some stuff, but yeah. Our next POI is the throne. Yes, I love the throne. The throne replaces Ringland Ridge, and all it adds is this large throne. And this was the throne of... What the heck? I don't know why that's there. Of the old Iron King. And yeah, this is the only addition to the area. It just changed the name. Over it because it really doesn't need to be gone over. What's next? I think we only have 2 more POIs to go over, which still, granted, there was a lot of POIs added this season. Almost actually no. If I'm not mistaken, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Actually, let me recount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think 10 and 11. And there, 11. We have 3 more POIs to go over, but 11. Which is about half of the amount of POIs that were added in Season 1. There was 23, I think. We should not go over this city yet, but I'm going to. This is Shiva stat. Now, Shiva actually is the name of the goddess of destruction in Hindu culture. We have this little pier here. large pier, actually. It's actually the farthest point that you can get out on, like, an actual, like, architectural thing or piece of land on this side of the island. She is a goddess in Hindu culture, and she is actually very, very cool because Shiva, goddess of destruction, war, you know. We have this park, the Central Park. We have a bunch of palm trees. This is also part of the chaparral biome. By the way, this is actually, oh, so there are two POIs in the Alpine Coastal. We have Grove Ball's Grub and Pub, which is a PO or a building that isn't reused. Here's another building that isn't reused. We have some apartments over here. Every room is the same, by the way, so we're not going to go over too many. But there are actually there's a little like a little storage unit somewhere. Wait, never mind. I'm a liar. But yeah, we also have a little, like, park here. We have a little, like, bazaar here. Oh, why is there a sign? Yeah, we have a little bazaar here. But yeah, everything else is reused. Oh, there's this. This is not reused. This is an actual bazaar. So yeah. Very simple. We have some showers and bathrooms. This is supposed to kind of feel more like as a kind of a refresh from, like, all the destruction, even though it's literally called Shiva City. It's supposed to feel as if it's less. One of them is called the Monolith. So yes, the Monolith is an official POI that is added. And that's in the center of the island where the 0 point is. The 0 point has been moved 2 times this entire chapter, I'll have you know. That's very unique. Actually, no, technically 3. No, 2. But sorry, I apologize. Here is the Monolith, but we're gonna fly right on past it because we're gonna go over our final Alpine biome POI. This POI is called Celestia's Crown. Island, but we just call it Celestia for short. It is the fully reconstructed castle because of the Time Temple. As you can see, we have this. Nothing down here really is reconstructed except for some broken windows. But up here, a lot of reconstruction has been happening, and Lawrence's throne still remains here. Now there is actually a reveal that I'm supposed to do at some point here, but it's already technically revealed. I already revealed it before, and it can also just be applied. Lawrence, the first Vissar. But yeah, just as a little bit of a reveal. Now for our final POI. This POI holds the Time Temple, the 0 point, and the Monolith all in one place. Now, that is a dangerous concoction that can create an entrance to the Abyss and also allow the Abyssal Serpent and one other man, the Shapeless Man, to enter our world. The Shapeless Man's the main villain of my story, by the way. Here's the 0 point. Very cool. Not really that much going on with this POI, so we're not going to go over it all that much. But we do have the Time Temple. This is the same Time Temple that was visible in Chapter 5. Chapter 1. No. Yeah. This is the same Time Temple that is seen in Chapter 1, 4, and 5. So yeah,